Hello guys and welcome to another video. Yeah, and today I'll be teaching you guys on how to make a tower defense system. So what that means is we're going to be making our enemy path system, our tower placing system, and our tower attacking system. So that will be really fun to make, and what we will be using is our knit framework so we can organize everything, and client-side rendering so it's more optimized. So let's just get started into the video. First, what we're going to do is set up our knit. So in the description of the video, go down there and you should have a documentary link where you can get your knit service right here. So click it and it will upload a packages folder into your workspace. Now drag the packages folder to your replicated storage. This is where we're going to store our knit. After that, we're going to create a server script service and call this server. Then we're going to create a folder into our server script service and call it services. Then we're going to create another folder and call it classes. Now to set up our knit, go into our server and define your replicate storage. Replicated storage equals game get service replicate storage. Next we're going to define our packages folder, or not, just our knit. So packages replicate storage dot packages, put this in require storage dot packages dot knit. Now that we have our knit module required, we're going to say knit dot add services and script dot parent dot services. So this is going to add modules into our services right here. If you don't know how to use knit, just search on Google. I'm going to speed run this. You can do knit dot start and then put this into a function, and at the end always do catch, because this is going to warn us if something goes wrong. And here we're going to print knit started. Now if we test it out, it should say knit started right here in our output right here, knit started. Now let's continue. So now that we have this started and we added our services, let's start on making our service. So add a module script into our service and call it enemy service. So we're going to use knit for this as well. So we're going to get these, and instead of returning a regular table, we're going to say enemy service, return enemy service, and we're going to say knit dot create service. This is going to create our service, and open a table here and expand it. Name equals enemy service. Always define a name so we can get the service on other scripts. And our client, so the client can access this service. If we put something like enemy service dot client function enemy service dot client fire or something like this, and then we can run this on the client. But we're not gonna do that. We're just going to say is function enemy service knit init. So this is going to run when our knit loads, this service loads, this is going to run. Say enemy service initialized. And another function that Net gives us is net start. So this is going to run with the net starts. So if we test it right here, the current thread cannot require enemy services, has the SandBox property set to. Oh yeah, one thing we need to fix on our net module is that it's SandBoxed. So we're just going to type a command in our command prompt right here. Just gonna say for, let me expand it for you guys. No, it's going to expand automatically. For v, right down here, for v in pairs get descendants to, if v is a module script, then we're going to say v.sandbox equals false. I'm going to set the SandBox property to false. We run this, there we go, it's set to false. And if we test, we can delete this now. And if we test it now, it should say enemy server starts and enemy server initialized. There we go. We created our enemy service. Now let's move on to classes. So this is what it's going to do, is create a different class for each enemy. So enemy class, I'm gonna do a meta table here. So enemy dot index enemy, just going to say enemy dot new. I'm going to create a new enemy for each enemy, and we're just going to say local self equals set a meta table inside our enemy full table. Say self dot health, whatever you want, 100, self dot name to custom name. So we're just gonna say name string, define the type always name, self dot speed, how much you want, and self dot whatever damage 10 or something like that, and return self. So now in our services folder we can require our class. So let's get our classes folder first. So just gonna say script.parent.classes. This is our classes folder. It's our classes folder, and we're going to get our enemy class. So enemy is require classes.enemy. So now we have our enemy class, so call this enemy class. And when we start our name, I'm gonna say is enemy class dot new. So enemy class dot new, and given a string what is enemy1, something like this. So this is basically going to create our enemy. You can also call this data for enemy and print this. Print data for enemy, because this is return ourself. This is going to print everything, and we're just going to call here print enemy spawned or something like this. Ooh. Now if we test, there we go, enemy spawned, and it prints all the variables for our enemy. So we can actually spawn a lot of these. So data for enemy 2 and enemy 2. We have 2 enemies now. Now that we can create our enemy, we're just going to store it inside our table. Enemy savers dot enemies equals to table, blank table, and we're just gonna say enemy service dot enemies date enemy1 equals data for enemy, and enemy2 data for enemy2, and we're just going to print enemy service dot enemies, and that's it. And spawn 2 times, and we have enemy1 stored as damage, health, name, speed, and damage, health, name, speed for enemy2. You can also set custom damage, health, and speed, so do speed number, damage number, and health, which is also a number. Okay, and instead of doing a certain health, we're just going to set it to the variables. Speed here, damage here. Now if we go inside here, we're just gonna say how much speed you want: 10, 100 damage, and 250. How much speed you want: 10, 12, 25, and health 100. So it's going to have different healths now and speeds. There we go. If you can see this, there it is. For enemy1 we have damage as 100 and enemy2 damage 25. So nice. We set it up our enemy service module in our services. Now let's move to our client. So as to our client, in this video I'm just going to set up the data for everything, and in the next video we're going to replicate everything, visualize everything. So into our starter play scripts, we're going to create a local script, call it local client, and we're just going to get our init. So instead of doing packages.init, wait for child packages, wait for child init. There we go. And we're going to say, what we're going to say is init.add controllers. Add controllers, and just going to say, we're just going to add our folder controllers. Going to add a folder script.parent.controls, and we're just going to say what we're going to do is start and then function and catch word. Just gonna print client started. We go. If we run this, check the output. There we go. Client started successfully. Nice. We set up our client script, local script. So now we can set up our controller. So going to our module, create a new module, call it enemy controller. We're just going to create a new controller. Okay, so we're just going to say, just going to get our init, say enemy controller, return enemy controller equals init dot create controller, and this won't automatically do it, so we're just going to say this name equals enemy controls, and we're just going to do function enemy controller init and function enemy controller init start. Just gonna print both of them. Controller loaded, controller started. There we go. If we print them, there we go, it works. So we did it correctly. So now we can actually communicate between client and server. So what we can do is get our enemy service. Since we didn't create a module, create a function that will communicate with our client, we're going to say enemy service dot client get enemies, and there we go. It's going to return our enemy service on enemies. It's going to return this. So if we go into our client now, just gonna say here enemy service dot get enemies, and then function data. It's going to print our data. So what we're going to do is actually, when we started, we're going to wait for like 3 seconds before we do this. So if we test it right now, can I call client service until net has started? Oh, alright, need to start right here. Okay. 3 seconds, and there we go. We have our enemies table, enemies data on the client as well. Boom. Now we set it up both our client and our server. So I think we're done for the data on this video. So we have a successful server and client communication. Also, we create a class for each enemy and set it up knit. So in the next video, I'm going to visualize everything. We're going to add a path which enemies will walk on. We're going to use a humanoid walk or Bezier. I think I'm gonna use Bezier. But yeah, I think that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Join my Discord for help and suggestions, and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos about this series, because I need support to continue this video. So thank you. Bye.